Everyone, welcome back to another weekend edition of the KungFu Cup, the 2025 KungFu Cup Monthly November Finals, number 3, day 3. I'm of course just VIP with you, and joined by these amazing players, by the chats and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all. Welcome one and all to the third day of KungFu Cup. Again, for the past 2 days or 2 broadcasts, we have been covering this event. It's been an intense one already with some crazy results. Let us head on over and catch up on the bracket itself. For those that are curious, KungFu Cup, of course, is a monthly tournament. It is organized and run by SC Boy, by the Chinese scene and by the Chinese community. They've been running KungFu Cup for many years, but this season, they have turned it into a monthly tournament. There have been times where it's been like a weekly or a bi-weekly, an invitational, which is what it is here and now. They kind of go through different formats depending on what the season and depending on what the time does facilitate for. And for the time being, it is a monthly tournament. So bearing in mind, of course, that we have more upcoming news to come regarding KungFu Cup, regarding the return of the Chinese server. So there's more news to come in the near future, alongside the upcoming invitational, the upcoming show match celebration series as well, post the return of the Chinese server, which has already been announced, which has already been confirmed. So again, exciting things to come. Meanwhile, when it comes to the event itself, again, we've been covering it over the past couple of days. This morning we were live with day 2, and now we are live with day number 3. So up first here we have Classic. Classic was able to take down Solar 2-1, and it did fall to Cure 3-1 in the upper bracket. It was a very intense, very chaotic, very aggressive TVP, which Cure did come out on top. Cure taking down both herO and Classic, by the way. Cure excelling here against the Protoss players, against the top Protoss players of Korea. So very impressive play there by Cure. Meanwhile, Rainer took down GuMiho and barely took down Showtime. That honestly, Showtime, he almost 3-0'd. Like, Showtime had a crazy series against Rainer, and then it did slip through his fingers. So again, they had a crazy back and forth. Rainer barely survived Showtime, made it to the upper bracket, and then Showtime gets knocked down to the lower bracket instead. Speaking of, we have our lower bracket players. Solar has been eliminated. Solar going to be the first way to be eliminated. He went down at 3-2 to herO. herO does advance on the face off against Showtime. Meanwhile, we have GuMiho versus Mana in the lower bracket. Oh boy. Now, when it comes to today's matches here, we are going to be focusing on the lower brackets. We're going to be covering Cure versus Rainer on Monday, bearing in mind that tomorrow we have Sparkling Tunic up, so on Monday should be the upper bracket. So Cure and Rainer are going to be held off a little bit longer until a couple of days' time. Meanwhile, we're going to be focusing on GuMiho and Mana, bearing in mind this is a 5-day event. 5 days of KungFu Cup action for the November finals. And of course, we are focusing on the lower bracket today. Up first, we have GuMiho versus Mana. We're going to follow that into Classic, and then we'll be jumping into herO versus Showtime. So 3 best of 5s, three best of 5s back to back. And up first, we do have GuMiho and Mana facing off on the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. Yo, shout all those in the chat. I see Stan, I see Psycons as well. I see Round, Este Rowdy. Ay. Guya as well. Easy Phil. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos, annyeonghaseyo. As we are jumping into our first series this morning in the top right hand corner of the Republic, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing himself, currently teamless. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is Mana. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, let's get on in. Let's jump on into the Old Republic here. Again, we do have our TVP. Coming into this, it's going to be a very interesting series, considering that GuMiho is out of practice. We spoke about this previously during a series against Rainer, but GuMiho, he is very inactive compared to all these other players. GuMiho, he rarely plays in open cups. He rarely plays in online tournaments. Like GuMiho, he's just very inactive nowadays. Unfortunately, he's teamless as well. GuMiho, I'm sure, is one of the many players that during the off season is taking some time away from StarCraft, focusing on other aspects of his life, his IRL career, his IRL job. So GuMiho, he is a rare sight, so I appreciate that he's here. I love casting whenever he can because, you know, he is less active, and we'll see how he compares to Mana. GuMiho did struggle previously against Rainer, but that was a different matchup. We'll see how he compares to Mana. Mana, who has been devoting a lot of time to StarCraft, who has been improving. I would say that Mana, 2025 Mana is a Mana that we have not seen in a long time, in many years. He's in definitely tip-top shape, tip-top form. We've seen Mana take down Clem. We've seen Mana take down and take it to players like herO, players like Rainer. Mana is a beast. We speak about it all the time, but Mana, he's the kind of player that like shoots up and shows up every like month or so. It takes like a month to regenerate all that mana. Like he like he powers up, bam, he takes down the Clem, or bam, he takes down the Rainer, and then he hibernates for like another month, and then he, like, you know, gathers up his energy, you know, he recharges, regenerates, and then he does it again. It's crazy. So mana, I would say that at this point he's cemented himself as one of the top players in Europe, especially this year. If you haven't been watching, then you might not be familiar. Say that Mana's been having, he's had better performances than Hearthstone, for example, than Geralt, than Christiana. You could make an argument like comparing Mana to Skillus, to be honest. Like you can make that argument. I think I still want to play Skillus above Mana, but I mean the results are still there. Is the thing about Mana. Yeah. For now though, Stargate opener here out of Mana. Does open up Stargate, behind this going for his own natural base, and this is a bit of a riskier opener here. So Stargate play is typically reserved for larger maps where you feel safe and secure. Here we're a little bit more exposed. It is a large map, that is true, but in general it is more difficult to defend your third and fourth bases on the Old Republic, so we'll see if GuMiho does go for something more aggressive. I think the thing about GuMiho is that he often does come up with his own builds, comes up with his own styles, he does follow his own meta, he doesn't follow others, so he's a really difficult player to read in general here. Even in a world where mech has been nerfed, I'm sure he's willing to play mech against Protoss again. We'll see. For now, do have our 1-1-1. Eyes are on GuMiho here. We'll see if he does go for any additional production building, or if he does go for an additional CC. How greedy is he going to be? How aggressive is he going to be? For now, Medivac is on the way, going for the early push, early drop. GuMiho trying to catch out the initial adept. As the that does get shut down. Nice pick off at GuMiho. Mana threatening to dive into the main base. Did open up Oracle first, Oracle followed by the Phoenixes, and with this he's about to reveal himself and reveal that he did in fact open up Stargate. That's the downside of going for the Oracle first, is if you went Phoenixes, you'd be backing up the Phoenixes back at home, building them up, and they'd be hidden, they'd be safe. Here, going Oracle, you're about to reveal your hand. GuMiho does drop in. Cyclone has arrived. Behind this, GuMiho is making a tank and a Viking. GuMiho looks like he wants to commit. Oracle does dive into the main base, so the Cyclone is out of position. The Cyclone is across the map instead. Diving on the medevac. Does force the unload. GuMiho looks like he will get the adepts. At the same time, across the map, only 3 SCV kills, nothing major. GuMiho, he defends. Does defend. Mana, he will pick up the medevac. Medevac goes down, and now he can live the Cyclone. And Mana should be fine. Should be fine here. He's gonna lose one. He's gonna lose one probe. Lose one worker. Oh no, the Phoenix! Phoenix does have to pull away. Does survive. And Mana holds. What did he lose? He lost one probe. One probe, one Oracle. That was the Oracle dead across the map. He lost 4 adepts in total. Some across the map, some back at home. And in general here, I would say a better trade for Mana. I mean, shutting down the medevac and the Cyclone, that does lessen, that does weaken this push. And here he comes. I get scouted. Does get spotted. Phoenix taking a lot of hits. GuMiho, he commits. Does have a hefty army. And GuMiho, he wants that third base. Now Mana, he does see it coming ahead of time. Charge is not done though. Yeah, charge is not complete. If he can siege up that tank within range, I don't really see Mana stopping this. Yeah, the tank will siege. And the base will go down. That's a kill. Kills the pylon. Will force a cancel. Mana supply block. Oh god. Brutal supply block. And these are the kind of pushes that Mana's vulnerable against. The reason for this, we spoke about this at the beginning of the game. Stargate opener. These Phoenixes, they cannot really help when it comes to defending against these pushes. They can pick off some key units. They can deny drops. That is true. They can shut down drop play, shut down Banshee, shut down Widowmine drops. When it comes to these big committed early move outs, I mean, that's when they struggle. A nice movement though. Nice use of the Phoenixes catching reinforcements. Lose one Phoenix, but hey, does get some value here. At the same time, landed Viking harass across the map. Getting 4 probes. Oh. As these Vikings are just being so annoying. And GuMiho, he's being... Okay, calm down. I was like, GuMiho is still being active here. Does get one more Phoenix. GuMiho does turn back around, thankfully. Doesn't want to be too wasteful here. And so far, GuMiho is not in a bad position, but we'll see where he goes from here. Does he expand? Does he commit? Gets another Phoenix. Wooden Mines bars are denied. A nice pick off. Tank is going to go down. So I'll say trade well for themselves. So let's trade well. GuMiho is still rallying. He does now have Stim. Command Shield's about to finish up. He's getting his third CC on location, so he's expanding. But once again, GuMiho, he is very committed here. And once again, a very offbeat timing. Now, with enough Zealots, Mana should be okay. Ooh, there's no support. Yeah, Mana, he can bounce on this army. Tells lift the Marauders. Tells picking off one at a time. Marauders will go down. Marines, they're just being thrown away. They're just being thrown away. Same time, late reactions out of Mana. 4 probes going down. Nice damage out of GuMiho, dropping another Widow Mine. Oh, does borrow. Ooh, 9 in total. 5 in the natural, 4 in the main. Another mine shot going off. Mana being pulled apart, getting distracted. And then a crazy decision here by GuMiho, despite the fact that it was a Phoenix opener, still went for the Widow Mine drop, and hey, got damage. It was worth it. Here, Mana's struggling. GuMiho going for another drop. So far, unscouted. Very fortunate. The Phoenixes were right there. And GuMiho, he gets in. Does get in. Gets a pylon. Delays +2. Maybe even gets a kill. Oh, can he get it? He can. +2 was denied. Nicely done. Meanwhile, while Mana's distracted, GuMiho just got diving right down mid. Goes up the rim, heads for the third base, and it looks like he will kill the third. A GG gets called. Mana's pulled apart, and GuMiho will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG will play. GuMiho does take lead in the series. Again, a very, very intense game 1. At times, GuMiho, I would say, being maybe overly aggressive, but at other times, I mean, punishing the build hero, the opener of Mana. Once again, when you open up Phoenix like this, when you open up Stargate, you do leave yourself vulnerable early on to these pushes, and GuMiho, he was able to deny the third base, contain his opponent, delay the economy, and just kept the pressure up. At times, again, I feel like he did overextend a little bit, but still was able to maintain that momentum. GG. GG, well played. With that, GuMiho does take the first game, and now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Going to be loading into Winter Madness. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Terran. We have the blue Terran. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is Mana. We go. Now, we are loading into a much larger map, a much more defendable map. I would say that this is a much more secure map to go into Stargate play, to go Stargate, to go Phoenixes, and to build up into the mid game. You'd be so much more comfortable here, but going for it 2 games in a row, I'm less fond of. So Mana's in a really weird position here, where again, I would have preferred to have seen Mana go Phoenixes and go Oracles and go Stargates in game 2 here on Winter Madness. Now that he's already done it, I feel like it's not really as viable anymore. I feel like you've already kind of set the pace. You want to deviate, you want to get out of that, and we should be working towards the Twilight Council instead. We'll see. When it comes to Winter Madness, as we mentioned, longer rush distance by ground. There's a lot of terrain in the center. We do have a ramp coming into the natural. This ramp is relatively narrow compared to other maps out there and other expansions. So we have a narrow ramp here that is more defendable. We have a narrow entrance here on the right hand side and a narrow entrance in towards the 4th base as well. So a much more secure 4th base economy. As a result, we often do see longer and later games on Winter Madness. Sitting down. Hero versus Solo elimination so early is honestly tragic. I mean, it really is, but at the same time, it's also on the players, right? Like, herO lost to Cure, Solo lost to Classic. Like, they lost their initial matches, so it led into a crazy elimination match early on. But they did struggle in the upper brackets. Both did struggle. It also shows just the caliber of play of the bracket itself. True. But the best of the best. Mana just being as annoying as possible. It is going to be Rax Expand out of GuMiho. More of an economic start this time, and Mana does open up Twilight Council. Reboot dips in. GuMiho is yet to confirm, and we'll see if he gets behind the mineral line. Oh, GuMiho, he is zoned away, and GuMiho fails to scout. Oh, he does fail to scout. He's not fully aware of the tech of choice. Behind this going to be opening up with a Marauder, and did he cancel? He did. Okay, did cancel Concussive Shell. Did spot the unit back at home. Did spot the additional Stalker, I believe. Yeah, Stalker, not Adept. So if there was an Adept, then it would be ideally rushing across the map to delay the CC. Remember, GuMiho, he did open up CC on the low ground after the initial Rax. So this is meant to try to catch any kind of harassing gateway units, whether it's Stalker or whether it's an Adept. Is meant to punish. We can see that there is no punish. Mana is staying at home. So we'll see what GuMiho does with this. As I see a medevac on the way. So we could try to Frankenstein this together here. We have what looks to be the setup for a Hellion drop alongside a Marauder push. Or is it the other way around? Just to make use of these Marauders in some way, shape, or form. Medevac is coming. And there it is. It is going to be Hellion and Reaper on the ground. It's going to be Marauder in the Medevac. Hallucination does spot the Medevac itself. But what is inside? Oh, Stalkers, they do zone away the Hellions at least. Marauders are going for the Stalkers. Yeah, nice catch. Forcing a recoil. He kills one. Does get one. Does get two. Oh, brutal pickoffs. Two Stalkers go down. Mana gets caught out in the open. And Mana, he's in danger back at home. What do we have to defend? We have two Stalkers. There are only two Stalkers. Marauders that have arrived. They're going to knock down that wall. Oof, that's a kill. It's a kill in the gateway. Thankfully, there is one shield battery. GuMiho dropping into the main. Stalkers are keeping up. Ooh, yeah, they do keep up. Picking up one or two Hellions. So far, the Marauders are still trading well for themselves. Yeah, nice control. The juggling. Oh my god, GuMiho. Finally, the medevac goes down, but these are still better trades. As Stalkers, they do not escape. One Stalker barely rolls away. And the boys are being pulled. The boys are being pulled into the Hellion. Oh no! Ah, lack of control. Lack of control. They're a little bit late to pull away. Hellion goes down. The boys will defend. And Mana holds. Mana does hold on. This had potential, by the way. This had potential to deal crippling damage. The last Mana does hold, does defend. Does still lose a lot in the process, but survives. Meanwhile, GuMiho back at home, building up his own bio tank. I was able to get some economic damage. The real damage, I feel like, was trading against the Stalkers. Killed 5 Stalkers in a sentry. Does mean that Mana's counterattack is that much weaker. And GuMiho is turtling up. Bunkers on the way, tanks are on the way. It's on GuMiho to defend, to turtle up, to survive. Here we're getting a third CC, so third CC is on the way. Mana looks like he wants to commit in with the Immortal. This I was not expecting, but he's going for the tank. Ooh. Prism is zoned away. Mana still looking for a way in. Rotates to the natural. GuMiho scans, doesn't see too much. Gets eyes on the gases. Spots the main army, breaks out. As he breaks out, Mana moves in. Dropping into the mineral line. Oh, there's a Stalker. And GuMiho, he will be able to defend. He will lose a turret. Turret is focused down. There's the recall back home. And GuMiho doesn't have enough. You can see Mana getting ready for the flank, getting ready for the surround. Oh, nice save here on the High Templar. Storm is not ready though. Without Storm, it's going to be a tough hold. But there are a lot of Zealots. And it might be enough. Yeah, Zealots, they charge in. One tank goes down. He hits one, but we just keep on rallying. Yeah, and GuMiho, he has too much. He breaks through the Zealots, getting on top of the Immortal, getting on top of the main army. Again, with that Storm, I'm not so sure if they can be a defense. Oof. Yeah, and the Bio Army just stims in. He just stims. He just wins from here. Breaks through the Stalkers. Storm just too little too late. It's just not finishing. Ay, ay, ay. After the main fight is ending, there's no High Templar, so we can't even make use of it. GG gets called, and GuMiho, he will take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a really quirky start. I would say an opener and a build that I haven't seen in a long time, going for not just a Marauder opener, which is a little bit more standard as a reaction, but making use of those Marauders and dropping across the map, right? With your Hellion Marauder, he was able to kill 5 Stalkers, get a lot of momentum early on. Not just that, but Mana was pretty committed in the counterattack. Remember, he didn't just move out with his Stalkers, he made an Immortal. He made an Immortal, and I'm sure the Mana felt pressured that he had to do something with the Immortal as well, so he counterattacked with the Prism, with the Immortal, and the Stalkers as well, but he didn't really achieve any damage. So just a really shaky early game there from Mana, where he was dealt a lot of damage, forced to make this army, and couldn't really achieve anything with it, and then eventually did get overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played. Also, just a really unfortunate timing, as you saw Storm finish at the end of the game, but there were no High Templar, so no Storms to speak of. And with that, we're getting into game 3, potentially the final game of the series here. GuMiho, he needs one more game to claim the series. The pressure is on. This morning in the top left-hand corner here of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran leading the series 2-0. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Polish Protoss player, the red Protoss. He's been struggling in this series, down 0-2. He has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this. For Team Liquid, it is Mana. Here we go. We are going to be settling in. And now welcome to one of the more aggressive maps of the map. Welcome to Ruby Rock. If GuMiho were to go for a 2-base all-in, it would make sense here. Like, this would make the most sense. Ruby Rock does favor aggression, shorter rushes to spike ground, has a very open third expansion, open third, open fourth, open bases, harder to defend. As GuMiho does go for an economic start, single gas opener. GuMiho going for the faster CC. Meanwhile, Mana should be going for a safer build, should be opening up Twilight Council into Blink. That should be. So far, Mana's just been having a hard time keeping up with GuMiho. I mean, game 1 was Mana being punished by going Phoenix. Game 2, Mana was unaware of how committed GuMiho was being. As once again, okay, 2 games in a row, we do have that Marauder opener. As we mentioned before, GuMiho did go for a faster CC on the low ground, and the goal, the hope here, and this time it's going to work, is that GuMiho wants to try to catch and trap the first couple of gateway units as they attempt to punish GuMiho's economic build. So Marauder production has begun, but GuMiho did not research Concussive Shell. Oh, so no Concussive Shell. That means there's no slow. GuMiho, he will deflect, but he will not kill. Well, I'll kill the Adept. The Marauder is revealed. Okay. And GuMiho is not researching, by the way. Yeah, he's going for the add-on swap. This is where mind games come into play. So Marauders are revealed early on, and based on what just happened last game, Mana, in his mind, it might be racing. He might be thinking, oh, the Hellion Marauders, they're coming, just like last time. I have to get ready for that. When really, no Hellions at all. Add-on swap, no Concussive Shell, only 2 Marauders are built, and we're switching into Cyclones, we're switching into Medivacs, we're switching into a further kind of tech build. So taking up. Reaper goes down. You can see the Marauders are sharking around. They should not push into the natural itself. That's the add-on swap. So it's going to be a double Marauder into Cyclone in towards, do we open up Banshee? Do we go into Raven? We at least have confirmation there is no mech. Second Rax is on the way. It's going to be a Raven follow-up. Raven follow-up with Fake Cloak. Okay. Let's go. I'm ready for it. And you can see Mana, he's ready at home. He's got 3 Stalkers in the main base. He's got a Shield Battery and 2 Adepts at the natural. He's getting ready for the drop. Specifically, what drop I'm referring to is last game's Hellion drop with Marauders, or Marauder drop with Hellion support. So Mana's being hyper defensive, but there's nothing coming his way. And there's also stopping Mana from scouting. Mana did not open Sentry. Yeah, no Sentry opener, which means no Hallucination Scout, so Mana has no idea what's happening. He's just blindly playing it safe when there's nothing to really threaten him. Remember, GuMiho has been taking up, building up his production. Looks like it's going to be Raven into a very real Cloak Banshee. Interesting. I assumed it was going to be a fake up, but no, he is committing. But again, he has not been scouted. That's the scariest part. Is that Mana doesn't know. Observer pops out. What's scary here is the Observer moves out across the map. The Raven's in position. This Raven is in position here to shut it down. Yeah, no. Speaking of, yeah, Observer is sniped, 0 scouting. Now, at least this does give some information to Mana. He's like, okay, so you went for an add-on swap, you went into earlier Raven play. So this does give some information at least. But the fact that a Raven was revealed means that there's less of a chance that there's going to be Cloak Banshee. When we know Cloak is done and we have a second Banshee on the way. Okay, there's 1 Observer on the map. I'm gonna get spotted. Observer is in the main. So thankfully, Mana, he does have detection in the main base. Oh, Jesus. He's in position. Mana, he defends well. Banshee takes a lot of damage, does go back in, getting 1, 2, up to 3 probes. SimCity working against Mana. And here comes the main army. The auto turrets, they don't quite snipe the High Templar, but tanks are getting within range. And Mana, he's not set up for this. The pylon's under fire. Can he get on top of the Robo? If the Robo goes down, then that can be game. Charge is not done. Oh, the tank shots. Jesus. Yeah, tank volleys are brutal. And GuMiho's doing it. Yeah, GuMiho is doing it. He will kill every single Stalker. The Zealots go down. GG. GuMiho, he will overwhelm. He will break Mana 3-0. Advancing on to the next round. GG. Oh my god. A very aggressive series here out of GuMiho, and it felt like, especially in the last game, Mana kind of got into his own head. From the beginning of the series, I wasn't too fond of the idea, but we saw Stargate play out of Mana. He was punished for it. We mentioned it. When you open up Stargate, you are more vulnerable to these earlier pushes and early aggression. and Mana had a very hard time defending and surviving against GuMiho by going Stargate. So here in game 2 and game 3, he did go for Twilight Council play instead. But after what happened in the first game with the Marauder Hellion drop, which did give GuMiho a lot of momentum, did feel like Mana got into his own head. But there were mind games, to be fair, that came into play with GuMiho opening up Marauder but not going Concussive Shell. I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen a player do that before. Like, I don't, aside from GuMiho specifically, like, when you open Marauder, it's for a reason. It's to go Concussive Shell, it's to catch the first units. But instead, GuMiho, he went Marauder, skipped Concussive Shell, went for an earlier add-on swap to get into his own Cyclone play, his own Raven play, his own factory-based play instead. It was very intentional, and, I mean, as we tried to emphasize, it meant that Mana, he was a little bit paranoid about what was coming his way, and was overly defensive, and didn't see anything. Didn't see anything moving out, didn't see anything coming his way. GG. GG, well played. So again, a lot of mind games out of GuMiho, and I feel like that's his style. That's how he be. That's how he be. But GG, well played. Congratulations, GuMiho does claim it. And now we're getting into our next series. We're going to be getting into our PVT. Okay, un momento here. So once again, this was a best of 5. GuMiho does take the 3-0, and that means he will advance on face off against his next opponents. Remember, who was waiting for the winner of the series? Bam! Classic. So Classic, he was lying in wait for either Mana or GuMiho. The TVPs will continue, but a very different kind of opponent here. Classic is one of the best Protoss players in the world, and GuMiho, I mean, hopefully he's warmed up here after that first series, because now he has a Titan ahead of him. Let's go. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on the Old Republic. And spawning in the top right hand corner, every time. In the top right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing himself, currently teamless. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Protoss Pro. It is a Classic. Oh, share, my papi, share. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. There we go. We're getting into our next TVP here. GuMiho, he takes down one Protoss only to face off against another. Now, Classic, he has some of, the best late game PVT in the world. But when it comes to PVT, we have been seeing a shift in the meta once again. We have been seeing a lot more shorter games here, and depending on the map, we have seen Terran players excel in the mid game specifically, just because of the latest patch, just because of certain maps as well. We have seen Terran players excel in that kind of avenue, in that kind of area, but we'll see how GuMiho does open up. Welcome to the Old Republic. We spoke about this previously, but it is very difficult to maintain a fourth base. Specifically, the fourth base here on the Old Republic is very open, is very exposed, and I would say it's going to be difficult for the Terran to embrace the mid game on the Old Republic. But we didn't really get to see any mid game last game. Like, GuMiho, the games were very fast, to be honest. His series against Mana was very fast, very quick, short games, and we'll see if that trend continues. As GuMiho was very reliant on earlier game aggression. Classic being annoying. We have 500 minerals. Oh my god! Yeah, heavy delay at 530 minerals there. Ay. So very nice delay there by Classic. Slowing down the economy. GuMiho did attempt to go Rax expand, but it's going to be a delayed CC from the Terran. It's a nice job out of Classic. Oh. The Warcraft 3 sound effects. Let's go. From here, I would imagine we should be seeing Twilight Council play. I did mention previously, there are certain maps where I feel like it is more viable and it's easier to get away with Stargate openers and Stargate play. In my mind, Winter Madness and White Rabbit would be the best for that sort of thing. And here we see Classic going for the Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener most likely into Blink. So far, GuMiho is conserving his gas, going into Reactor Marine. What does this mean? This means 0 scouting. GuMiho, no SCV scout, no Reaper scout either. Ooh, as the CC is going to be delayed. Nice pick up here by Classic. Delays the CC. I mean, delays it even further than before, true. So heavy delay in the CC. The Adept will get away. There's no Hellion to chase. There's no Reaper to chase. Adept waddles away. It doesn't commit. Behind this, we continue Marine production. The gas is being spent on an earlier Cyclone into Medevac into early drop. And we'll see what GuMiho can get done. I'm sure Classic is also wondering to himself, you know, where you're spending your gas. Are you going for earlier drop play? Earlier Tech Lab on the starports? Tech Lab is clearly not on the racks.
Research complete.
Oh, and we have GuMiho coming in from behind. As Shades forward, which means the Adept is going to get caught out. Nice pick off. Takes down the Adept, takes down the Stalker as well. And nice pick offs here, nice catch. GuMiho shuts down Classic. Classic getting ready back at home. Behind this, how many gates? Wait, what? 2. Oh, 2-gate blink. Very greedy here from Classic. This is a rare sight. Yeah, 2-gate blink Stalker into a third base. Hyper greed out of Classic. We'll see if GuMiho can punish. Oh, nice juggling, nice control. Saves a Cyclone, but with extra warp ins, Classic is holding on. And Classic does hold on, checking GuMiho's vision. Did he see? He is aware of the timing of the Nexus. He knows. He's aware it's early. And we'll see if he can punish. Now, very quickly talking about the build here, it is very common nowadays to see 3-gate blink into a robo into a bit of a later third base. Seeing 2-gate blink, this is very 2024. This is very early 2025. This kind of greed did fall out of fashion because of the rise in popularity of 2-base all-ins. Like Terran players, if you remember, like earlier this year, like I'm thinking what, April, like June-ish, like I'm thinking DreamHack Dallas era of StarCraft. 2-base all-ins were rising in popularity. You can see even here, boys are being pulled. And this will just shut down Protoss players so hard. Classic is slowing this down. And Classic has to buy as much time as possible. Needs to buy time. Charge is on the way. Immortal production has begun. Gateways are in production as well. And Classic does at least scout the all-in. So he knows. He's aware. Classic pulls away. His Stalkers are getting very low. Another Stalker goes down. Down how many? Down to 6. 6 Stalkers left. Oh, does get the warp in. Oh, another 2 Stalkers go down. Yeah, 2 more Stalkers fall. Every Stalker counts, but again, he's buying time. Shield barrier is done. Immortal has arrived. And with the help of the Immortal, I believe Classic holds on. Yeah, there's not enough Marines. Not enough bio. Very nice defense here. Classic, he survives. He shuts this down, chasing down the Medevac, chasing down the tanks. And GuMiho is going to lose everything. GG gets called. The all-in fails. And Classic survives and takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Very greedy build here by Classic, but so crucial. They slowed down the army. Again, from the moment that the GuMiho moved out, Classic, he was here to stop him. He was here to just pick away the Marines, pick away the tanks. He bought so much time for that Immortal. Whew, GG. GG, well played. I can see that having a very different kind of outcome if GuMiho wasn't scouted, right? If his move out was unimpeded, if he got across the map without any issue, then different story. But Classic was able to slow down that all-in. And now we're getting into game number 2. I don't blame GuMiho for going for the all-in there. I think that is the correct call to make. I think that's the correct choice, just because your opponent's being so greedy. But it is unfortunate that he just bled out so much on his way across the map. It isn't just about Classic being in position and slowing down the push from the beginning. That's part of it. I would also say the other part is that, hey, the rush distance by ground on the Old Republic is long, right? It's a large map, longer rush distance, so Classic had even more time to pick away at the army. True. I'll say those 2 things came into play. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is a GuMiho. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss player himself representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. push got deflected so easily. WTF. I mean, again, as I tried to mention, I do think a big part of that is one, Classic, he basically killed every Marine by the time GuMiho got across the map, right? I think GuMiho may have had like 2 Marines left, like around 2 Marines remaining when the all-in arrived at the 3rd base. But not just that, Classic, he was buying time for his 2nd shield battery to finish and for the Immortal to pop out. And you could see once the Immortal popped out, because there were so few Marines, Classic completely dominated that fight. But again, I would also say that the size of the map also played its role as well. Whew. But here we go. We're now getting into game 2. Now, as amazing as it was that Classic got away with 2-gate blink, I would say it is illegal to go 2-gate blink on Tourmaline. No shot, Batty. Tourmaline is one of the more extreme maps in the map pool. The rush distance by ground is short, much shorter than the Old Republic, for example. It's one of the shortest, if not the shortest, rush distance map in the current map pool. I gotta get out my ruler. Actually, you know what? Hold on. What is smaller, Tourmaline or Ruby Rock? Aye. Tourmaline, Ruby Rock. Let's have a look. Do I have that information? Not immediately available. I have to check the spreadsheet. I have to check. But yeah, this is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Aggression is heavily favored here, so we should be seeing much safer play out of Classic, if not more aggressive play out of Classic. Oop. As Reaper does go down. Not to not 29 seconds. Ruby Rock, 31 seconds. Okay. So technically, the rush distance by ground on Tourmaline is 2 seconds faster than Ruby Rock. Okay. Just opened up the spreadsheet. Wait, how's this compared to 10,000 feet? $10,000 feet is 28 seconds. Okay. Technically, shorter on 10,000 feet. Sorry, yeah. Is what I was curious by. But now GuMiho, his CC is going to be delayed. As once again, just like last game, he did go Reacted Marine into Cyclone into early drop. Same build, same opener out of GuMiho 2 games in a row. As he wants that Stalker, will get it. Stalker goes down, gets 2. Oh my god. 2 Stalkers do fall, and a Classic, he does barely snipe the Cyclone. For 3 Stalkers, though, this was an expensive trade. Aye. 3 Stalkers did delay the CC. True, did kill a handful of Marines, but that is still an expensive loss for Classic. Now, what I will say is that Classic should be fine against this. On the one hand, GuMiho did outtrade, true, but on the other hand, this drop has lost its teeth, right? Like, the main anchor point, the main backbone of this drop and this push was the Cyclone. Remember, these are vanilla Marines. So GuMiho is going to be forced back. And we're going for the all. Okay, we're just going for the all-in. This is a very popular all-in that has been popularized by, Clean's been doing it a lot, Bjorn's been doing it a lot. We're going to be rallying Marines across the map. We do have combat shields as the upgrade of choice. And we're rallying tanks and Vikings. Landed Vikings specifically, they can hit very hard. They do add a lot of DPS to the main army. Unfortunately, this main army is going to be lacking the Cyclone. That Cyclone would have been another big factor here. Did he do it again? He did. 2-gate blink again. Jesus, he's crazy. 2-gate blink into a 3rd. Ay. Meanwhile, here comes the 2-base all-in. He commits. He gets 1 Stalker. Once again, bleeding out a handful of Marines. So far, that's 3 Marines for 1 Stalker. Ooh, Classic. He's stuck on the low ground. Yeah, he has to go the long way around. Let's go the long way. He's being tied up here by the Viking. One Stalker gets picked off. Main army's pushing in. Can we get within range of the Archosis pylon? Thankfully, second pylon. Okay, the second pylon here is in position, but he's within range of charge. Oh, ambitious with the bunker. Yeah, bunker is denied. Immortal goes in. He goes to the surround. Oh my god! He dives on the tanks, gets one, gets both tanks. The hero Immortal just in time, and classic, he will defend. No shot. GG gets called. He can't keep getting away with it. He went 2k blink into a third again. GG, well played. I mean, GuMiho, his bunker was very ambitious. It was very far forward. That is true. But the Immortal came out just in time once again. We got a full surround as well. GG. Classic, calm down. Oh my god. That was crazy. That was impressive. GG, well played. Again, I was certain that the stalkers that were stuck on the low ground, they were going to be dealt with, right? They were going to be dealt with, that they wouldn't really come into play. But no, they were able to blink past. We were able to pull off a full surround as well with those stalkers, picked off both tanks, and that was game. That was game then and there. GG. Oh my god. And now we're loading into Winter Madness. We're loading into Winter Madness here. We are loading into game number 3, potentially the final game of the series. I mean, I hope not. I hope that we, you know, get a little bit more out of our players. I would love to see a game 4, game 5, but the pressure is on. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran, we have the blue Terran. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Virtus Pro. He is up 2-0, 1 game away from claiming the series. It is a classic. And my heart, Pappy, I feel for GuMiho. Like, again, game 2, winding it back a moment there, game 2 on Tourmaline, I did mention that, hey, the rush distance background is shorter, you know, aggression is more favored. Classic went for a greedy build. GuMiho went for the 2-base all-in. It all makes sense on paper. But Classic, once again, he was, I mean, Classic, he was even bleeding out a lot of stalkers. He lost, what, 4 or 5 stalkers in the process of racing back home? Like, he lost the initial 3, he lost another after that as well. So, like, it was a shaky defense out of Classic as well. He bled out a lot of stalkers. Got the Cyclone, I guess, I suppose, but still. So for GuMiho's all-in to still fail, like, that's brutal. That's that hurts. Ay. Like, the stars were aligning there for GuMiho, and it still didn't quite work out. From here, we have to take a very different approach. Once again, GuMiho single gas. He's going for a Rax expand, going for an economic start. We can see Classic being as annoying as possible. We'll see if he goes for the pylon block. For now, just the probe. Pulls away. 450, not too bad. We had 530 mineral, 530 earlier, so 450 here on the timing, not too bad. I'm referring to the minerals, 450 minerals. So not too bad at GuMiho. It does get a CC. We've seen worse. And now we can settle in. Now, welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is a very large map in the map pool, longer rush distance, more defensive bases. This is where Classic could mix it up and go Stargate. But after what happened in Game 1 and Game 2, I mean, no reason to mix things up, really. He could just go Twilight Council into a fast third base off of 2 gates, and it'll be even easier, to be to be honest. Like, aye. Classic, he be chillin', Pappy. Oh, do you see what I see? Second Rax. That is a second Rax before Starport. This already looks like a 2-base all-in. We'll see if he goes for another Rax as well. Basically, what is happening here is that we are heavily delaying the Starport. We're delaying drop play, medevac production, any kind of Starport play, of course, in favor of earlier stim, earlier tanks, earlier just army production here. And it is going to be a 2-on-1. Okay, so we are going for the Starport. If we had a third Rax, just straight up 2-base all-in. You can even pull the boys with it as well. But at least we're going for the Starport. But this is still very aggressive here from GuMiho. Very aggressive. From here, I'm curious to see if we get a tech lab on the Rax. If we don't, we could go for tank production alongside the Viking and just pure, like, Marines here and just rally across the map. Curious to see where the tech lab is going to be. And how this all comes together. Okay, tech lab on the Rax. Are we going for an early stim timing? And do we keep the tech lab on the Rax? Show us what you got. It looks like the answer is yes. Okay. So this almost looks like a straight up 2-1-1. Yeah, okay. Hyper early stim. This is, I would say, probably the earliest stim timing you can go for here. This is a much more common build against Zerg. It is rarely seen against Protoss. Not never seen, but it is quite rare. So early stim timing here from GuMiho. This is very dedicated. The downside and the most difficult thing about this build is that because you're going for the tech lab on the racks, there's delayed tank production. And it means that if Classic were to be aggressive with Blink Stalkers, think like 3-gate Blink or 4-gate Blink Stalker, then GuMiho would have a very hard time defending because of his low tank count. On the flip side though, Classic once again 2-gate Blink into a fast third. So greedy build is done so every game in this series. Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3. Mancho comes in. So far, Classic does react well. Oh, nice retargeting. Very nice. Oh my god, oh no! Oof. Gets a Stalker, not bad. Stalker goes down, some awkward defense there from Classic. But in general, Classic did go for a very economic build. Very economic. There's some pros and some cons. So on the one hand, Classic, he is going to have the greater economy, and coming into the mid game, he's going to be in a better position. The downside is because he went for a greedier build, he doesn't really have anything to threaten the bases or even to scout. Checking the Visionary Classic, he has seen nothing in the main. He does not know what's going on. And as I mentioned, the build that GuMiho is going for is quite rare. Does spot the Mass Marine. Stim is not yet done, but already Classic picking off the Marines. I mean, this is even more crucial than normally, just because that sim timing is going to be weaker if there are less Marines. Oh, Mind Drop comes in. Mind Drop does come back in. 5 probes going down. Speak of by GuMiho. Gets a Stalker. GuMiho does move out with those drops. Back at home, there's not really that much to defend. Classic out of position. We'll see what he can get done. Okay, does go for the stim. Going for the sentry. No shield battery. No defensive shield battery. Blinking on forward. Crazy blink there out of Classic. He's going for the medevac. Yeah, trying to. The boys are being pulled, and Classic, he'll bleed out those Stalkers. Down to 2 at the same time. Classic getting across the map, getting to the mineral line. We're getting messy. We're getting messy here. That's a lot of SCVs going down. No safety bunker and no defensive tanks. Remember, tanks are in the middle of the map. And Classic defends. He defends, losing only 3 probes. Meanwhile, 8 SCVs go down. Production is delayed. Oof. Yeah, blinks away. Drop comes back in, but once again, the army is ready. That's one more probe, just the one more. And Classic is in a better position here. He defended well, surprisingly so, to be honest. Remember, Classic didn't have a shield battery. He had 3 Zealots and a Sentry. Like, that was a crazy defense. The Stalkers, I mean, they tanked well for themselves. Classic holds. The stim timing was unsuccessful, I would say. GuMiho lost more workers than he killed. And now there's barely any support. Yes, there are 3 tanks, but what is it to protect those tanks? Oh boy. Yeah, charge is done. Classic, he's moving in for the kill. Just needs another wave of Zealots. Here they come. 5 more Zealots warping in. And the SimCity's just out here, and he sees everything with the Observer. He knows. Like, he sees how vulnerable GuMiho is. Gets behind the mineral line. He's waiting for the unsieged. He had 1 tank on sieges. Zealots dive in. And GG. GG gets called. A swift series here. Classic will claim it 3-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very impressive display here from Classic. A very fast series as well. Yo, you thought Mana versus GuMiho was fast. Nah, you ain't seen nothing yet, pap. Yeah. Very impressive play here. I was most impressed by Tourmaline. Here on Winter Madness, I mean, quirky build out of GuMiho, going for the 2-on-1, going for the stim timing. You know, you don't see it every day. It was fascinating, cool to see once again. Had potential, but unfortunately, Classic did have the bare minimum to defend, and he defended well. Not just that, but he counterattacked. we saw that GuMiho's tanks were stuck in the middle of the map and they weren't able to achieve anything. Because of that, Classic punished him. He punished him by just counterattacking him in the natural, and he killed what, 8 or 9 SCVs. Like, he crippled the economy, whereas he himself defended back at home. Like, it was just a really rough start there for GuMiho, and that's why the charge timing hit as hard as it did, because GuMiho's stim timing didn't achieve anything, right? Like, he had built up towards his stim timing, he threw away, and he invested so heavily into those Marines, 16 Marines across the map, failed to get damage done, was shut down. He also bled out SCVs, bled out his economy. Rough position there. GG well played. But again, the most impressive game in my eyes was Tourmaline. Like, for Classic to get away with his opener and to survive the all-in despite the shaky start as well. Like, Tourmaline was crazy. That was wild. I can't believe it. GG well played. With that, so let's catch up on the bracket. Here we go. Let's catch up here as we've had some pretty fast games so far. From the bottom, actually, let me just open this up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we've been covering the lower bracket matches. So on the bottom, we have GuMiho. GuMiho took down Mana 3-0 to advance on to the lower bracket round 2, where Classic swiftly took him down 3-0. And now we have Classic waiting in the lower bracket round 3 match, waiting for the winner of Showtime and herO, waiting for that soon-to-be PvP into PvP. We have a Protoss confirmed for the lower bracket finals. Again, we have Cure and Raynor up in the upper bracket. They'll be facing off in a couple of days' time, as of course that's going to be a day 4 match, not day 3. We have 1 series left here. It is going to be a best of 5 between Showtime and herO. And so far, this broadcast has been pretty short. This morning, we were live for quite some time covering the upper bracket. Like, we had some really long and really intense series. But here tonight, day 3, it's swift games. And yeah, I mean, we still have 1 more series left, of course. We're going to be cutting to a break. We're going to be cutting to a break here. And when we come back, we will have the PvP between herO and Showtime. Just catching up. But yes, we're going to be cutting to a break here. When we come back, we'll have our next series. We'll have it here on Showtime. So take this time, take this moment to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your Marines, and hydrate all of your Hydras. We'll be back soon with some more StarCraft with that final series. See you soon, pal. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we've returned. We've returned here with our final best of 5 of the broadcast. We returned with herO versus Showtime. I do apologize as today specifically, this day of KungFu Cup has been a bit of a shorter broadcast. I think even though it's been 3 best of 5s, 2 of them have been insanely fast series overall, and we'll see if this final best of 5 can make up for that. We'll see. I mean, I'm tentatively going to say that just because it is going to be a PvP with herO getting involved, so I feel like it's going to be quite rare to see the mid game and even rarer to see the late game. I expect to see a lot of early game shenanigans and early game aggression. Let's go. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, baby. Let's go. Let's jump on in. Game 1 is going to be on the Old Republic. Oh boy. Oh, this series got to live up to. We got a lot to live up to. We got to make up for the how fast those earlier matches were. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sentinels. It is Showtime. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing T1. It is herO. Here we go. So we're jumping into our PvP, and I'll be honest, in recent times we haven't been able to cover too much Protoss versus Protoss. We've been featuring a lot like Max versus herO versus Max, Classic versus herO, Classic versus Max as well. But when it comes to featuring some of the other Protoss players out there, we haven't been able to cover as much of that. I mean, partially because we've been avoiding that. True, whenever we cast an event, whenever we live cast a tournament, we usually try to avoid the rare matchups, but yeah, I'm curious to see how Showtime compares and how he is looking in the current patch, in the current era of PvP. I will say that, I mean, we spoke about this last time, but Showtime, he is an animal. He is hyper aggressive. We just featured him against Mana previously, a couple of days ago in KungFu Cup. And in this matchup, Showtime, he's willing to cheese, willing to proxy, willing to be aggressive. Showtime has a reputation of being a very defensive and macro player in other matchups that is less applicable to PvP. Further, 2-gate. 2-gate opener out of Showtime. Meanwhile, gate cyber opener out of herO. herO mixing things up and going for a greedier build. Okay, bold move. And Showtime, he poked in, he is somewhat aware. He saw the singular gateway. Here he does like to hide his second gateway further back though, so that's how he can mix it up, and that's where mind games come into play. Here can be a very tricky player in PvP. That's why Maxx also does struggle against herO as well. As Zealot does pop, and herO wants to expand. With the completion of the Cyber Core, he could go Stargate first. Nexus. No, there it is, Stargate. Okay, so it's going to be Stargate before Expand. A bit of a safer start here by herO, but overall still very greedy, cutting corners. The purpose of the Zealot is to make sure there's no pylon block, or if there is one, the Zealot is there to focus it down. And here comes that natural. And Showtime confirms. Showtime does confirm. Behind this, Showtime did open up Sentry Expand, so likewise Showtime has skipped his second unit in favor of a faster Nexus. Showtime also cutting corners, and in general we do have more economic starts. I will say that herO has more potential just because he did open up faster Stargate, so he has oracles to harass and to get across the map. Let's go. See in chat, has Skills played much lately? Yes, Skills, he did take a bit of a break. Unfortunately, Skills, he was unavailable during the time of the CranKy Gatherers Team League tournaments in the playoffs. If you remember, Mana stepped in and Mana was playing and competing for Team Liquid, where Skills could not. So it was a little bit unfortunate. So Skills was unavailable. But I want to say maybe like last week, Skills, or like 2 weeks ago, like Skills, he came back and he's been active in the online Open Cup scene. But the big event where Skills was meant to be showcasing himself, he was unavailable for, referring to the CranKy Gatherers event. Nikita. Speaking of, is Skills playing in tomorrow's tournament? Hold on. He is. Oh yeah, he is. There you go. Fun fact: if you want to see Skillers, he's actually playing in tomorrow's tournament. Tomorrow this is the November finals for KungFu Cup. We have the Sparkling Tuna Cup November finals tomorrow, and Skillers, he is one of the seeded players, and he has accepted his invite. So we'll be featuring Skillers tomorrow. Este Nikita. Link is in the chat for tomorrow's bracket. For now, though, here he does go for a faster third base. The initial Oracle has yet to really deal much damage. You can see here 2 probe kills and only 2. As we are building up in towards the mid game. Okay. Building up into the mid game. herO with a faster third base. Likewise, you see Showtime not too far behind with his own third. Far behind. And I assumed that this was going to be a more aggressive series, but no, we're getting towards the mid game. Now, when it comes to how we're getting there, I mean, herO does have potential with the Oracle, did keep it alive, so now stasis traps are going to be coming into play. They can impact some of these fights, as we have stasis traps all over the place. Likewise, Showtime, we're taking up from Blink in towards Robo, Immortal Production, Charge, into Archons. Kind of the direction, or the direction that we're expecting. The trajectory of this game. There's Charge for herO. He's going to be the first to move out. herO pokes in. Gets one. Oh! Goes for the sentry. Gets one. Gets two. 2 sentries go down. He wants a third, and he barely does not get it. herO does blink away, and he bleeds out his own sentry. 2 for 1. Good trade for herO. Oracle does threaten a dive. herO, he's reinforcing. Pokes in. Once again, blinks forward, gets one, gets two. Picks up the Stalker, picks up the Sentry. Oh, we'll have to trade though. He's bleeding out some of his own units. From here, there's still a better trade for herO. We do see a herO losing 4 Stalkers, but he killed 3 and a Sentry. Sentry, of course, has more potential with force fields, with hallucinations. We did have a back and forth trade. Behind this, our players are expanding, getting a 4th. Yo, no show us the PvP where we're actually like getting a back and forth mid game. Let's go, let's go. What is today's broadcast? And yeah, we're going to be perfecting our armies. Now, when it comes to how the armies want to evolve over the course of the game, we start with Mass Blink Stalker, that is true, but over time, you want to be switching into Chargelots. Chargelots, they're much more efficient, much more effective. They're very cheap units, they can close the distance, and they can trade very well against Stalkers. So as Zealots come into the mix, then you are forced to get into Archon production. The purpose of the Archons are to counter the Zealots. Just because Archons, they provide a lot of splash damage, they're also very tanky as well. Temple Archives is now done, and the first Archons are morphing in. That's the first Archon for Showtime. And we have the first Archon for herO as well. Yep, also morphing in. So from here you build up the Archons. This is where Immortals also come into play. The purpose of the Immortals, and we already have 3, I believe? 2. We already have 2 of them for Showtime, is Immortals. They can do quite well, not just on focusing down the Stalkers, but also the Archons as well. And if the game goes long enough, then that leads into Disruptors. That's where Disruptors, they're much more cost efficient against all things Protoss. And the game can lead into Disruptor Wars, but that's far later. Bearing in mind coming in towards the mid game, Showtime does have the immortal lead. That can be a big deciding factor. To the revelation, herO does move out. Checking the armies here, we have an equivalent Archon count. Showtime is the higher immortal count. Stalkers are even, and Showtime does have a slight lead in Zealots as well. Okay. But it comes down to the engage. The Zealots are a little bit too far back. And Showtime now diving in. The Archons, they push forward. The Archons are getting all done from both sides. But we have more Zealot reinforcements coming in. The Immortal is exposed. And here's still quite close. Showtime blinking in. Nice snipe. Yeah, nice snipe with the Stalkers. Takes down the Prism, takes down the Oracle. And Showtime, he comes out on top. He comes out on top. A better engagement here. Showtime, he retains the Immortals. They both survived. And 2 Archons as well. And that's what it comes down to. The high-tech units. Which one survives? 4 of them for Showtime. 0 for herO. So Showtime, he has a lot of momentum. And now he's moving in. Catching out the Stalkers. When behind a Dark Shrine, we have DTs on the way from herO. Here he's getting desperate. And Showtime, he's going for the kill. At the same time, herO gets across the map. Showtime going for the natural. Once again, Showtime just has an overwhelming mass amount of Zealots. Collapsing in the army. Showtime pulling back to everything else. Once again, he wants that Archon. He gets it. Archon goes down. Zealots try to come in from behind. And Showtime, he has to be careful, but he should still clean this up. He still has 4 Archons left. Down to 3. Down to 3, down to 2. Nice focus firing here out of herO. More Zealots are warping in. But Showtime, he still has far too much. He breaks the main army. GG gets called, and Showtime takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. It all came down to that first big fight in the center of the map. We saw that Showtime, once again, we spoke about the strength of him having actual Immortals when it came to his main army. The Immortals, they did a great job at focusing down the Archons, focusing down the Stalkers. They actually did impact that fight. Likewise, we saw that Showtime did a better job of retaining his Zealots. They didn't just dive in too prematurely. He did hold some of them back, so he had more of a trickling in of Zealots throughout the course of the fight. Of the engage, GG. GG, well played. With that, Showtime takes a lead in the series. Oh. Does take a lead. And now we're loading into game 2. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sentinels, leading the series 1-0. Showing off more standard PvP, it is Showtime. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1 down in the series. It is herO. Here we go. As we load into a much smaller map of the map pool, much smaller, shorter rush distance by ground. We expect more aggression between our 2 players here on 10,000 feet. That's what we expect. Again, the Old Republic is a much larger map, so it does lend towards longer games in this matchup. I would expect to see something more active here from our 2 players. Hello, herO. I noticed that camera, by the way. He's going for the center of the map. He's going for a proxy. Now, based on this center location, this does look ideal for a proxy robo. So we're expecting a robo. We're expecting a 1 base all-in. As herO is set up. Just waiting for the pylon. Showtime with his probe scout. He should confirm that a pylon is missing. Oh, he's going for his own. Okay. Okay, let's go. We have a bit of a give and take here. So pylon for herO, pylon for Showtime. We're going for the proxies now. A couple of things here. This position, this location is ideal for a proxy Stargate. So this looks like proxy Stargate into proxy Oracle into economic damage. Meanwhile, herO is going for a robo into a 1 base all-in. So very different kind of goals here with our 2 proxies, assuming this is a Stargate. Technically, we could still go robo here for a Warp Prism into a drop into the main. But there it is. Stargate for Showtime, robo for herO. Now, I think a lot of this comes down to the Oracle. So this Oracle has potential to cripple the economy. If he can cripple the economy, then he can potentially defend because he can limit warp-ins. The downside is that this Stargate is not going to help defensively. As opposed to a Stargate back at home, you can't rally and reinforce with Void Rays, for example, or with Phoenixes to muster up a defense. Because the production's across the map, it's going to be difficult to actually rally home and pull off a defense with anything out of the Stargate. On top of that, Showtime, he has a later scout. He confirms the pylon is nowhere to be found. He does see a second pylon, but now there should be a third. Showtime is aware that something is wrong. And here comes herO. Now again, if herO can defend, he's getting a shield battery. No shot. herO, he saw that a pylon was missing. herO, he reads this as a proxy Stargate. A very nice call out of herO. herO did not scout, but he's assuming. He's assuming that Showtime would go for a Stargate here, and the shield battery will defend. So here he's perfectly fine back at home. Prism is on the way. And this is going to be a tough hold for Showtime. Showtime, he also read it as a Stargate. Showtime, he also went for the shield battery. Oracle goes in. Shield battery will buy time. And sentries will defend. So far, only one probe goes down, so here he defends. Meanwhile, Adepse busts into the main base. The shield battery does nothing here. I say does nothing, but to Adepse, they can one-shot probes. They can and they will. Probes are going down. Getting 3, 4, 5 probe kills. We're still not done. And this is critical damage. This is already critical damage here because we're not going to finish. We're still going to keep going. No, 10, 11, getting up to 12? Oof. Can we get up to 14? We can. 14, 15 probe kills. Not like this. Half the mineral line does go down. Meanwhile, Adepts do shade into the main base, but they're going to be dealt with. They do get some counter damage, but Showtime is crippled. Showtime is crippled. The Oracles, they go back in, okay. 2 Oracles, they can one-shot. Can one-shot workers. 5 probe kills. This is nice, but still not good enough. herO is still in a much better position. Has a better economy, can afford more warp-ins. Showtime going for the Phoenix, that will help defensively, but as we mentioned, takes a long time to race back home. hero's moving in. Knocking down the front door. Takes on both gateways. Again, with 2 immortals, even without the prism, he just keep going. He just keep rushing in. And here, he will not be stopped. Again, Showtime just took too many losses. Unfortunately, he wasn't expecting a proxy robo. He wasn't expecting an all-in. Misread it. Oh, let's go, getting a 3rd shield battery. He has 0 gates, by the way. 0 gateways, 0 warp-ins. He can reinforce with the Stargate. That's it. That's all he can do. And if you wanted to, we could just expand. Could expand from here. Oh. Station trap goes off. herO stuck outside of the main. And GG gets called. Yeah, there's just no surviving from this. There's no coming back. herO, he will type the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Do tie things up, but we are making our way into game number 3. And again, just a misread here from Show. I say misread, really just, I mean, they both gambled, right? They both just gambled. herO, he was ready in the main base with a shield battery. So was Showtime. The problem was that herO was committing to an all-in, not a proxy Stargate. So Showtime just gambled a little bit, assumed one thing was another. GG. GG, well played. With that, herO did crippling damage, killed 15 probes in the main base of Showtime. It was crazy how much damage he dealt, and now we're getting into game number 3. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sentinels. It is Showtime. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. Go. Here we go. Here we go. As from here, we're going to be settling in. Once again, the probes do move out across the map, and we'll see if anyone commits to anything. We are loading into Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a smaller map in the map pool. Aggression is also favored here, similar to 10,000 feet. But looks like after proxying in game 1, we don't really have the appetite to proxy here in game 2, as the probes just scout. We're just scouting each other. No shenanigans this time. While watching highlights of the week at Saturday noon after a wonderful 9-hour sleep. Ah, that sounds amazing. That sounds beautiful. 9 hours of sleep. One day, Bucky, one day. Enjoy sleep once again. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy. As for now, we have no shenanigans, nothing crazy. Both players looking to expand. It was a Stalker Adept opener out of herO, Stalker Adept out of Showtime as well. Mirrored builds. No one is cutting corners, no one is doing anything too crazy. From this point forward, we're kind of expecting aggression in the mid game. Oh, as we both open Stargate on one base. Okay. We'll see if anyone scouts. The probe is going to be deflected from both players, by the way, so no one sees anything. And is anyone willing to risk a Phoenix opener? Is anyone willing? Or do we both commit to Oracles? I mean, there's no guarantee that there's a Stargate here, even though they both delayed each other's expansions. Could still be a Twilight Council before expand instead. What's it gonna be? Huh. Do we just have an Oracle? There we go. Oracle for herO, Oracle for Showtime. Okay. If either one was able to scout, if either one recognized what was going on, they could have gone for a Phoenix into a hard counter. But no one sees anything, so we're just opening up Oracle. Let's go. Oracles are on the way. Oracle into Phoenix. Checking the vision here. Showtime did not confirm. Neither did herO. But he's going for it. Oracles they pass by each other. Let's go. They do spot each other. The Phoenix will help. There's a shield battery, safety shield battery in the main base for Showtime. Same for herO. What's here has to kill his own shield battery. Oracle does threaten a dive. Oracle dips in and gets no damage. Showtime is deflected. And you can see Showtime is looking for herO's Oracle. It's here at the natural. And herO banking up to 2. herO, he spots a Phoenix with the Adept, dives into the natural base, gets 1, 2, 3 probes, 4 probes even. He commits, okay. He just commits in. He's going to throw away his Oracle. Gets 9, 10, 11 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. herO cripples the economy, recalls back home. Looks like he will barely not save the Oracle. Doesn't save. But herO does take an economic lead. When behind, what do we do? Dark Shrine. When behind Dark Shrine is on the way. Now, because the Oracles were just killed, fun fact, herO has 0 detection. He just threw away the Oracles. He threw them away, so 0 detection is available. Technically, herO can chrono out an Oracle once he realizes what's going on, and he can get detection with an Oracle, but that's the only way currently for herO. It's the only way he can deal with a Dark Templar. Ooh, speaking of it, oof. As herO does shut down the initial Phoenix, he's actually going to mass Phoenix himself. He has 3 of his own. And herO is going for an early push. herO does not expand. As herO moves out, Showtime moves in. herO turns around with everything. herO turns around, gets baited. Nice stasis. Showtime is also committing on 2 bases. Once again, dragging the army in. No, no! Oh, the bait! Oh my god, stasis goes off and herO gets caught out. The Phoenixes are on their own. Yeah, they're on their own. And Showtime, he does win them back. Doesn't kill. Uh oh. Stasis traps are running out. And the Dark Templar is revealed. Instant Oracle. Instant Oracle here from herO. Chrono as well. Yeah, here he scouts the DTs. He's aware. Ah, they had potential, Pappy. They had potential. DT's walling in. herO going double robo. Wait, what? It's making 2 robos is crazy. That time that gets in, gets 1 probe so far. Remember, DT's a 1-shot probes. We get 2 probe kills and only 2. Am I crazy? Did he cancel? Yeah, he canceled. Did cancel the robo. So just the 1. And where exactly are we? So herO, he was able to get early economic damage and an early lead. That was a big investment into the Dark Templar, and it wasn't really worth it for Showtime, but he at least keeps herO pinned at home, right? herO, he was pushing. He intended to commit across the map and to kill Showtime. But herO forces turn back around. herO, he has yet to expand. Building up his immortals. Just now going for his 3rd. So again, it's been a very chaotic game. Phoenixes, they do slip into the main base. Okay, not bad. Picking up a couple of pros. 6 pros go down. Somehow, some way, they all do escape. Nice drive-by here from herO. And we speak about this all the time. Like, the soup does lie in a sense where Showtime, he has an equivalent worker count, but he's been mining less this entire time as he's had a lower worker count for longer. So hero's just had the better economy, and that translates into herO having the larger army. That all came down to the early damage. Came down to the early game. Showtime here to force a cancel. Same time, Phoenix, they just keep finding more damage here. They dive into the 3rd, or going to the main stasis goes up. No, catching the entire mineral line. Oh no, not like this. Ay ay ay. Este Showtime. And he's just being pulled apart. And Showtime doesn't have enough to all in is the issue. He's up against 3 immortals, soon to be 4. There's just so many immortals here for herO. See in chat, is DT warping invisible without detection, or did herO just notice a shimmer? He just noticed a shimmer. You noticed a shimmer, Pat. Showtime tells pull away. Pulls away. herO once again into the main base, going for another stasis. This time Showtime is paying attention. Oh, despite that, still goes off. herO gets away. He gets away from the main. Showtime is being surrounded. Get out of here, Pappy. Get out of here. Oof. As the Oracle finally gets chased down, but here he's here to end the game. Again, he's got his 4 immortals. +1 is now done. herO has the upgrade lead. Blinking on 4. There are shield batteries, but it's not enough. GG gets called. Then herO snowballs out of control, and herO will take a 2-1 lead. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very, very chaotic game here. Both players did open up in the same manner. They both went for the Stargate before expanding. Both went for the initial Oracles as well. But here he was able to find some more damage here. He was also able to catch out his opponents, go for the Mass Phoenixes, and deal more economic damage. Winding it back, a lot of it came down to the initial 9 probe kills. Remember, here he kept his Oracle back, waited for the second Oracle, then he killed 9 probes at the natural. So with that, he took a massive lead. That was the moment that Showtime had to go for DTs to try to recover, and they did not do enough damage to make up for the earlier losses. So Showtime was playing from behind, took a lot of damage, invested into DTs to recover, didn't quite recover though. Did not make up for it. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into game number 4. Going to be loading into Tourmaline for that 4th game. Again, the pressure is on Showtime. He has to win here and now to force the ace match. Let's go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. Representing Sentinels down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Showtime. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player with the South Korean Protoss representing T1. It is herO. Here, 1 probe up, everything else identical, transformed, army advantage, and over. If you recall, I was referring to the 9 probe kills that he got. Like, like here, it took a very substantial worker lead early on. It's far more than 1. There's no other good reason for a proxy warp gate. That is not true. It is not uncommon to see proxy pylons and proxy gateways to go for adept harass, to have a position to just warp in adepts to commit and to get into the 3rd base, getting to the natural. Also for 2 base all-ins as well to reinforce. Especially given that Showtime was behind, like, I would not rule out, like, here thinking that that could just be for a 2 base all-in. But here we go. For now, it is going to be a 2-gate opener, 2-gate opener out of Showtime. Likewise, 2-gate opener out of herO. Oh, eyes are on this probe. herO, he didn't go into the main. Did not go into the main base. We're pulling back. This position would be ideal for a proxy Stargate. Jesus, that's as herO, he's actually just scouting. Huh. Okay, that's a little bit odd. So herO, he sends out a 2nd probe as well. Oh, but he commits to a pylon. Okay. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't go for the proxy pylon with the probe that was already out on the map. He sent out a 2nd worker, so technically this means that Showtime has a better economy. So if we compare our 2 players here, herO, he has 2 probes scouting, Showtime 0 scout, by the way. Like Showtime, he has gone for 0 scouting, so Showtime, he does have a slightly better economy and building up, opening up, double adept. Now, this is where the mind games come into play. This is why herO is scouting so like diligently, is because there's no probe scout. So he believes, hold on, if there's no probe scout, then maybe that scouting probe is proxying instead. So that's why herO is so adamant about checking here for a proxy. He goes for his own fake proxy pylon. And the real one. Okay, okay, we're getting messy, man. We're getting messy. Let's go. Twilight Council on 1 base. herO, he now confirms that, hey, the gateways are at home. There's no proxy. There's no expansion yet either. But it's time to reinforce. And we're going for 1 base DTs. So 1 base Dark Templar. I was leaning towards a proxy gateway for a 3-gate all-in, maybe even a 4-gate all-in. This is a really awkward position for herO. Remember, he's going 1 base DT. Showtime is going 1 base Robo, so he has access to the Observer. He can make the Observer here. I mean, Showtime's also working with no information. He saw the pylon. He saw it was a fake pylon, so there's a lot happening. Showtime, he scouts the fake pylon, so he believes that there's no all-in coming because it's a fake out, clearly. But he's about to check. He sees the expansion. Here, he's selling a story right now. He's like, oh no, yeah, like it was just a fake out. It's like, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm expanding back at home. But Showtime's going for his own one base all in. You have 3 gates, one base all in out of Showtime. Showtime wants to punish herO. We're about to get rowdy. I think Showtime just wins. I mean, does Showtime has a prism? He does. He does have a war prism. So Showtime, he should just break into the main base. I don't think that herO has enough to defend. It's going to be close. It's going to come down to the force field. Going to come down to whether or not he can snipe the prism. DTs are coming in. I believe so far 0 detection. True. Could herO kill the robo? That's an option. He could depower the robo even. What do we go for? Do we go for economic damage? Do we try to kill the robo itself? What's the plan? herO, he doesn't cancel the base. It's going to be a kill. DTs, they go for the pylon. Yeah, he's going for the pylon, and I believe he should depower. Ooh, robo's depowered. Going for the robo itself. Again, it's going to be close. At the same time, natural will go down. It's gonna be killed. No shot. He kills the robo. Robo goes down. 0 detection. At the same time, here he force fields a ramp. He just has to buy time. GG gets called. The invisible man across the map ends the game, and herO, he will take the series 3-1. GG. GG, well played. Showtime going for his own one base all in. There were a lot of mind games, by the way. There was so much going on. herO didn't probe scout, so sorry, Showtime didn't probe scout, so herO believed that there was a proxy, so he had 2 probes out on the map scouting and checking, went for his own pylon, it got scouted, so Showtime, he believed that herO was playing standard. Showtime never scouted the main base, by the way, so Showtime, he blindly went for his own, quote-unquote blindly, went for his own one base all in, believing that herO was playing standard when herO was going into DTs. And there was a robo, but no detection, no observer. herO, he sniped the pylon, killed the robo, ensured that there was never going to be a detection. GG. GG, well played. Whew, a very chaotic game. Very chaotic, very messy. Very tense, but in the end, herO, he will claim it, and Showtime is now out of KungFu Cup. Out of KungFu Cup November finals. GG, well played. GG, well played. With that, let's head on over here to the bracket. Let's catch up what's been going on. We do have, of course, our confirmed top 4 players. We have Cure and Rainer in the upper bracket, and we have herO and Classic in the lower bracket. We have our top 4, and we have our final matches getting ready here. We have Cure and Rainer looking to face off in the upper bracket finals. We have herO and Classic facing off in the lower bracket 3rd round. Lower bracket semifinals, essentially, in that PvP. So we finally have our top 4, bearing in mind as well that I believe we have some best of 7s in the mix. Yes, upper bracket final. So Cure versus Rainer is going to be a best of 7. herO versus Classic is going to be a best of 5, but the lower bracket finals is a best of 7, and the grand finals is also a best of 7 as well. So we have a lot of best of 7s in the horizon. This is a 5-day event. I believe our next broadcast should be the upper bracket finals and the lower bracket semis, and then the final day will be lower bracket finals into grand finals. Oh boy. So again, 2 days left, baby. 2 days left of KungFu Cup action. And again, it was great to see all of our players getting involved as well. Again, some of the best players in the world. We had some nice Zerg representation, of course. I mean, in general here, we have Cure, Rainer, herO, Classics. Nice representation from all the races, of course. As we'll have one of each in the top 3, as herO and Classic will knock each other out, and only one will be able to advance on. Oh, the balance, baby, the balance. Let's go, let's go. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope you had a great time. Again, a bit of a shorter broadcast today. We just had some really fast best of 5s, right? Like GuMiho Mana and Classic GuMiho were real fast and real quick. So really fast matches there. herO versus Showtime, that was decently long. It was herO versus Showtime was as long as the other 2 best of 5s combined. But fun fact. It's crazy. But GG, well played. And again, when it comes to the rest of our schedule, we should be live tomorrow with our own monthly tournament. So again, KungFu Cup, I believe they're going to be running these every single month. This is the November edition, of course. Our monthly tournament is tomorrow. Bam, as you can see here on our schedule, we just wrapped up with the Saturday afternoon cast of KungFu Cup, and you can see in just over 24 hours time, or yeah, around 24 hours, less than 24 hours, we're going to be live with Sparkling Tuna Cup Sunday evening. You can see it there. When it comes to who we're going to be featuring during Sparkling Tuna Cup, let me quickly double check for you. Let us double check. Again, it's going to be a very intense weekend of StarCraft. Un momento. Bam. There we go. So again, if you are a little bit unaware, if you maybe watch the channel but you don't watch our regular weeklies, we do host Sparkling Tuna Cup on a regular weekly basis. It is the equivalent to the War DTV Monday or to the Monday Night Weeklies or Pigster Cup, for example. So it is a regular weekly tournament, except unlike those events, we actually have a monthly final. So every weekly we do give out points to players based on their performances. They do, or they are invited into the end of month event. So we have our top 8. These are our top 8 players for the month of November. We have Nightmare versus Young Yakov in the upper quarterfinals, or in the quarterfinals. We have Christiana versus Classic. We have Bjorn versus Shameless, and we have Skilless versus Percival. Here we go. So this is our top 8. I say for the most part, just because one player was unavailable. Solar. You can actually see it up here. This is our monthly standings. Our monthly standings here for our weekly tournaments. And Solar, he did qualify in first place, but Solar was unavailable. He was unavailable. If you're wondering why was Solar unavailable, unfortunately tomorrow, it isn't directly clashing, but it is overlapping. Wardy is hosting his own tournament. He's hosting the Korean Royale. And Solar is a part of that. It's like I think Korean Royale Season 4, I think it's called. But Soul is a part of that event, and I think Wardy's tournament starts like 2 hours into our tournament. So if Solar played in our event, there's a very high chance he'd have to forfeit to play in Wardy's tournament. So unfortunately, there's a little bit of an overlap there. So Solar, he couldn't compete in both, unfortunately. So that's why he did forfeit here. But everyone else did, of course, lock in, and we have our top 8. Oh boy. It's a bit of a shame. It would have been nice to have seen a little bit more Zerg representation, but it's understandable, right? Another event's going on, and again, Solo's going to be competing in that. But regardless, so there's a lot riding on Young Yakov's shoulders, is what I will say. There's a lot riding on his shoulders to represent Zerg in some way. Go, papi, go. Send it, papi, send it. When it comes to the format of this cast, again, this will be tomorrow. Again, tomorrow in less than 24 hours. We're going to be running the first 2 quarterfinal matches first, and then the other 2. So it's going to be Nightmare versus Young Yakov and Christiana versus Classic happening at the same time. We most likely will be casting Nightmare versus Young Yakov just for some diversity and covering Zerg while we can. And then the lower quarterfinal matches will be happening afterwards. So Bjorn versus Shameless and Skilless versus Percival. We most likely will be jumping into Skilless and Percival. And then we cast both semis and then the grand finals. So 5 series in total. Skills fact just missing. Skilless, he is non-representing. The invisible man. Yeah, invisible men. True. There were 2 of them. One observer to win the game. I mean, again, he didn't scout, right? Like, that's a little bit on Showtime, but remember, Showtime, he didn't scout the main base, so he didn't know what was going on. He was trying to chrono out that observer. I think he got halfway done, halfway complete. Oh, but here we go. Will it be a B stream? I believe there are some other language streams sometimes. So for example, Indy sometimes jumps on to cast in Polish. TKL sometimes jumps on to cast in French. Ryung sometimes jumps on to cast in Korean. I think that's it. I think it's usually Ryung, TKL, and Indy. Might be forgetting someone, but we sometimes have other language casters, and they might follow a different match if they want to, if they want to follow a certain player. So I think an example of that is Indy. He usually does focus on the Polish players, so there's a very high chance that if Indy casts tomorrow, he will be covering Classic versus Christiana, for example. Very high chance he'll be all over that. So when it comes to some of the other matches, like there's a chance that some of the other language casters will cover it instead. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. We just wrapped up with day 3 of KungFu Cup, and again, this is going to be tomorrow's broadcast. Sparkling Tuna Cup, the November finals, will be taking place tomorrow, so make sure you mark your calendar, set your alarms to be a part of that. As you can see, that'll be at 7 p.m. KST. That'll be in 9 p.m. AEST. That'll be in 23 hours time. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it, of course. Do appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time. When it comes to, hey, when's day 4 of KungFu Cup? That'll be Monday. So tomorrow's Sunday, we have Tuna Cup. Monday, that's when we have day 4 of KungFu Cup, and I believe on Tuesday we have day 5. Let me just double check. Yes, Tuesday will be the final day of KungFu Cup, so we'll be crowning our champion over on Tuesday. And then we have the rest of the week's schedule, of course, with KSL, with WarDTV Monday, with Pegasus Cup, with some StarCraft Evolution. True, I know there are some big fans of SC Evo that are a little bit sad that we haven't casted much SC Evo in recent times, but we'll be casting some StarCraft Evolution next week on the 5th of December as well. So we got you. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the Sparkling Tuna Cup November finals. Otherwise, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. I don't see who's live at the moment. I know that Sort of is live. We've been raiding Sort of quite a lot, but he's got a lot of viewers. Oh my god. Do I notice anyone else? I see MinoVK. MinoVK is streaming. Luis GGG. True. Este Luis. Who else do we have? We do give him some love when we can. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Also, very quickly, if you want to support us, you can do so by following us on all the socials: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. We do post whenever we go live, and of course, we do upload on YouTube on a daily basis, so plenty of content on YouTube. If you see something that you like here, if you're like, hold on, I didn't get to watch day 2 of KungFu Cup or day 1 of KungFu Cup, then check it out on YouTube. Likewise, the Podcast, that is our weekly talk show where we talk all things StarCraft. You can check that out on YouTube as well. We do stream it every single week. This week we spoke about, I mean, there was quite a lot to discuss. We did have, of course, the announcements of Coca. Coca is now a papi. Coca papi. Yeah. Coca, of course, now has a daughter and now has started a family. We have Fantasy. Fantasy got married a couple of days ago as well. What else did occur? Hold on. No, something bigger. We had our miniatures discussion last week. Oh right, the Soso interview. True. Brutal related, but Zomagub did interview Soso this week as well, so we discussed that. We went through Cyril's EWC game analysis as well, and of course all the events of the week, so do highly recommend checking out the podcast. Again, I think we are the only running SC2 talk show at the moment, which is kind of crazy. It's feels bad, man. Long gone are the days of the Pylon show or Remax or the Late Game or the High Yield podcast or all these other god, what's the other, Unfiltered, true, or all these other talk shows. All gone, papi, all gone. Only the Ponge cast remains. We do what we can. And of course, we try to keep you guys as updated as possible in regards to all things StarCraft. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. You can support us via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. I was just showing off the Sparkling Tuna Cup, but hey, that tournament, you can help fund it. You can help grow that tournament, the Sparkling Tuna Cup, via Patreon. That is the place to do it on. We have a bunch of stretch goals. We have a bunch, it's all broken down when it comes to what our next goals are going to be, when it comes to the prize pool breakdown as well. It's all on Patreon. You can help support us, so you can help us grow the Tuna Cup. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you then. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you tomorrow. Hasta luego.